Hello, what is up everyone? Jacob here. Today's video is going to be a bit different. I'm going to be talking about how I actually got admitted here to college in Vienna. Like, what did I have to do? What was the procedure? What difficulties did I have to go through? And this video is mainly aimed at those who are trying to do what I did. So coming from a European Union and trying to study in Vienna. Because that is quite literally the only category that I can tell you, college-wise. I can't talk about how Austrians get admitted to Austria or how some third country person can get admitted, because frankly I just know the EU regulations. Now also I won't get into detail why I actually decided to study here. I will just say that I love the city, I loved the language, I wanted to learn German, and also it is one of the best business schools in Europe. So around the start of last year, actually probably at this time, I had a pretty clear idea that I want to go study here in Vienna. But I still didn't know anything about applying. I didn't know what the procedure was. I quite literally couldn't translate the German from the website, the university website. I couldn't really translate it. I had no idea what it meant. I had a German tutor, so she helped me translate it, and it basically said the following. So if you want to apply for a bachelor's degree, which is what you're gonna be doing, in Europe it lasts for 3 years. I think it lasts for 4 years in America, someone told me. So yeah, here it's 3 years, and it's 180 ECTS. Is it ECTS? I think it is. Points. Now, enrolling in a bachelor's degree in Austria is only possible if you study in German language. So there are no English taught programs, bachelor's programs in Austria, in Vienna, unless you're going to a private college. So I knew what I was getting into, but that was not the problem. That was kind of one of my pros, that I wanted to study in German. Knowing that, I was preparing heavy for my German certificate, which said you need to get a B2 certificate. So if you know how language levels go, it's A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. C2 being the fluent German person has C2, of course. If you want to read about different levels, you can pause the video now. Okay, so it said I have to get the B2 level. Now, I got the tutor, I already got the books for B2, I was practicing heavy to take the Goethe certificate for the B2 level. Now, I will link all of this stuff down below, so the link to the institute and the link to the article explaining the different language levels, those will all be down in the description. So I was studying for B2, right? Around February or March, I actually went to an open day here at the university and met some professors, some fellow students, and learned a lot about what it means to be studying here. Somewhere around that time, while I was home in Zagreb, I was browsing through the university's website, just minding my own business, where I came across that same requirements list. And it said I needed to have a C1 certificate. So out of the blue, they completely switched from B2 to C1. So, and that is one of the biggest jumps. If you read the language levels carefully, from B2 to C1 is one of the biggest jumps in language learning. So that was a big, a punch in the face, because that meant I actually had to learn C1, and I was barely ready for B2. So that was around February or March. So after 2 weeks of being depressed and contemplating whether it's worth it to keep trying for this year and maybe just give it up and learn German for a year and then go enroll next year, I decided to actually push and to try to finish the C1 certificate in time. Now, somewhere mid-March was when the actual deadline for applying for the university was done. Now, at that time I didn't have to bring any documents. The only thing I needed to do was to just sign up with my name and surname, my email address, and some other data, and to pay the 50 euro examination fee or something like that, because at that point it still wasn't clear whether there's going to be an entrance exam, because an entrance exam only takes place when too many people apply. Now, at that point, nobody had any idea if the actual entrance exam is going to take place, because if not enough people apply, then automatically everyone gets accepted, but still we had to pay those 50 euros. Now, before my actual final exams, I got an email from the university telling me that there will be no entrance exam because not enough people applied. I'm really happy at this point, because I don't have to study a whole bunch of stuff that I would only need for that examination. So I'm really happy, but on the same time I'm just if that didn't happen, I don't think I would have made it with like all the studying of that and then also studying German for the certificate. So that was kind of a really lucky moment for me. So June comes around and my Matura exam, like my final high school exams, and like I did really well on those. I mean, for this university, I didn't have to, get any special good grades. The only thing I needed to do was just to pass those exams. So that's what I did. I actually tried a bit, so I got some good grades as well, just as a backup in case I don't get accepted here. So at that point, I had like the Matura exam, which was like one of the two biggest things that I needed to have. The second biggest thing I needed to have was my certificate, which I still didn't have. I had planned to take my certificate in July. I think it was on 18th of July, but they canceled both certificates. So I applied for Zagreb and Pula, which are both cities in Croatia. So at that point, I got my high school grade list translated, because that's what you need to do when you're submitting documents here in Austria. And I was desperately trying to find another appointment for the C1 certificate. And I finally found it in Hungary in September. So I actually went ahead and took that exam in September. But before that, I actually had to go to Vienna to submit like another bunch of forms, just with personal data and the Matura exam, so like the final grade transcript translated. Those both had to be brought to the university before the 5th of September. Now on 4th of September, I went ahead and took the C1 certificate in German in Budapest. So it wasn't really difficult. Like I prepared for it. I really did prepare for it. So it wasn't like a surprise, the level of difficulty. I actually thought it was pretty easy. So I was quite sure that I nailed it, but not sure enough not to apply for one more certificate. So I applied for like another examination in Zagreb, which is my hometown, which was like 2 weeks after that. So I actually had to apply for that one a bit earlier than I even took the first one. So I had no idea of knowing if I'm actually going to need the second one, but I still applied, just to be sure. So fast forward 2 weeks and I'm taking the examination in Zagreb, and oh my God, I wrote it a lot worse than I did the one in Budapest. Now at this point, I'm really happy that I took the one in Budapest, because I'm not sure I'm gonna pass this one in Zagreb. So I have two certificates that I don't have any results on, and it's like the end of September, and I have to go to Vienna in a couple of days to move in here and just start studying, and I still don't have like the main thing I need to start my studies. And then finally, like the email comes, here are your results, you did great, here is your certificate. And I really like wrote it well. I think I had like 84%, which is more than enough. You need 60% to get the certificate. So at this point, I'm really super happy. Like I'm jumping around the room, and then they say, like, you can pick up your certificate at our like offices, like from Monday. And I'm just standing there like, pick it up? I have to go to Budapest. Like, can't you just mail the certificate? And they were like, no, we have some bad experiences with that. Like we don't do that. And I was just like, what? So a couple of days go by, and I'm like pulling every single string I have, every single person that maybe be able to like bring it to me from Budapest, so that I don't have to spend like 10 hours on the bus, like getting there and coming back, just to get a simple piece of paper that they could literally scan and send. So a family friend then managed to arrange that their friend would pick up the certificate from Budapest and bring it to Zagreb. So now it is the day before I'm going to Vienna, and I finally have my certificate. So I came here the next day, brought it into the university, and I was actually enrolled. So just to kind of recap all the steps. Mid-March, you need to apply with just like general information about yourself and with the 50 euros to pay for the possible entrance exam. Then like in June, you find out if there is actually going to be an exam. I luckily didn't have one. So you proceed further to your final exams in high school, which you need to just pass, and then you bring that certificate once it's translated to the university before the 5th of September. Then you need to get your certificate, which from this year on is only C1, so there's no confusion. You need to get the C1 certificate to study here in Austria. Then you need to get that C1 certificate somewhere, but watch out because they might cancel on you like they did on me. They probably won't if you're planning on taking the certificate, I don't know, in Germany or like in one of those bigger cities, because over there are always enough of people who apply for them, so that is no problem. They're also more expensive though. Like the one in Germany is 3 times as expensive as the certificate exam in Budapest. So that is one thing to keep in mind if you're on a tight budget. So yeah, once you've gotten your certificate, you just need to go ahead and bring it to the university before the end of November, I think that the deadline was. So that was like quite okay, you know, they're giving you time with your certificate. But at the same time, before you bring your certificate, you can't study here. You can't go to classes. I mean, you can, but you're not really applied for them. You haven't really applied for the classes, and also you can't take any exams, and like you can't log into the university's page to like see all the learning materials and like PowerPoint presentations. So you get my point. Without that certificate, you're not actually studying at the university. So finally, after having gotten that certificate and submitting that, I became a student of the Vienna University of Economics and Business here in Vienna, more known as Wirtschaftsuniversität Wien. So once again, I'm not too sure how the application process functions for other countries that are outside the European Union and for the Austrian students, but for us, it's not like really complicated to get in. And also I should mention that studying here is free for the students of the European Union and of course the Austrians. People from third countries are paying, I think, like 700 euros per semester, which is nothing. I mean, for you Americans, it's like it's a gift pretty much compared to your prices. So you know, that's a certain like a big plus and another reason why I wanted to study here. So that will be it for this video. If you have any questions, and I repeat, any questions about any part of the process, you are free to write it down in the comments below, or even better, contact me on Twitter. My Twitter link is down below, as well as my Instagram link. I will be sure to answer all of your questions, because I remember when I was looking for all of these answers and was trying to find my way through like the bunch of German words I didn't understand on that website. I really could have used a video like this. Now I will be making a video detailing the preparation for the C1 certificate. That is actually going to be a video series. I'm going to do like a couple of videos, like 5 or 6, in depth, explaining everything, how I actually studied for it, how I prepared, what were the materials, what are that I used, what were the movies I watched, the music I listened to, because it all adds up when you're trying to get a certificate on a level that is as high as C1. You really need to be doing a lot of things that native speakers do in order to actually get this level, because it's really close to the native speaker level. So that will be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share this video with friends if they have similar worries as you or similar questions. And yeah, let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions. My name is Jacob, and peace.